All right, guys, welcome back to Total Disclosure. We have a special presentation for you tonight. Tonight, I've been something that has been in the works for some time, and I just got involved very recently. It has to do with the 29 Palms mass sighting case where over 50 Marines allegedly saw lights in the sky unprompted, unknowingly, and reported it as a UFO. Corbell, George Knapp, and the platform Weaponized were the first ones to break said story. And since then, a lot of back and forth has been going down throughout not just the community, but we're talking Department of Defense spokesperson Susan Go, getting an answer within 24 hours from the base saying that it was simply an exercise, and that there was no UAP in the vicinity. So much more. We're going to break it all down. I don't want to waste too much time. We're going to do this in a structured debate style. Very, very gentleman-esque. Yeah, there'll be a little drama. Tensions will flare, but we'll keep it to a minimum. With that being said, like, share, subscribe. And if you want to help support the show, become a member. And this is not the time for that. I'm going to bring these guys in. So, arguing and on the side of anomaly and a UFO is Arthur Preston, who was just on our live show, revamped. Arthur, you are continuing the research into this case, bringing it up to speed, up to date, while it's kind of been in the lull. Jeremy really hasn't come out and given any more evidence, but you've been continuing to work on the case.
Yeah, thank you, Ty, and thanks for having me on. I definitely think it's UFOs. I think the community is mostly wrong. I think they got it wrong on this one. So I want to thank you, Ty, for shining some light on this case again and getting the dialogue going and some more debate going, because I think it's really an important case.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what just happened. It said go live. It said that we weren't live. Are we live right now?
Yeah, we're live.
God, if anyone's listening, are we live right now? I just want to, before I bring Grider. Okay, we are live. Because there was like a disconnect between my computer and what was actually happening. Sorry about that, guys. Grider, you have military experience with flares. You are opposing the view that this was some sort of anomaly, that this was just another routine training exercise held at a base in California that is known for doing training and exercises.
Yeah, guys. Hey, thank you so much for having me, Ty. Arthur, it's good to see you again. I'm here to, debunk on the original. I mean, you're a reality debunker, Arthur. You're trying to make up, something that's not there. And I'm here to set the record straight and put this case straight to bed, all right, forever, because we're sick of this. I mean, we're tired of all this nonsense, all right? It was flares, 100%. I've got the documents, all right? I've got the proof, the facts. You're done, all right? You're done tonight. It ends tonight.
Already, I like I said, I love it. I love it. I love it. So again, we are going to allow for everyone to get their moment in the sun, their main caveat. They're getting their best foot forward. Now, I do want to go over a couple things. Now, I think what would be best is an introduction of each person lasting 5-7 minutes, to briefly introduce your reference frame, and your opposing viewpoints, the flares versus UAP anomaly, and we'll kind of go from there, introducing evidence, calling it out by number, and having our back and forth. So,
Cool. Can I go on and start, I guess?
yes, you may.
All right. So basically, my experience that lends me some credibility in this is that I was a former field artilleryman in the United States Army. I was a 13 Bravo, which is a cannon crew member. Basically, I just went and I fired artillery. That was what I did all deployment. Um, and I probably fired over 10,000 rounds in my life, with probably 2,500 being illumination rounds, which are basically parachute flares, not the same as aircraft parachute flares, which is what we see in this video, but same type of same type of device. And so basically, excuse me,
It's okay.
basically what Arthur's going to do is he's going to come out and he's going to talk about the credibility of the witnesses, and he's going to say that that there were 50 Marines that saw it and that they said that it wasn't flares, and that they know because of their experience, and yada yada yada. And then he's going to talk about how Susan Go quickly dismissed the case, within she was able to come out within a couple of hours, I think.
Within
By
24.
by lunch. Yeah, like by lunch that day. So like it was submitted at like 1 a.m. and then by noon, she had a statement out. Well, I mean that okay, I can kind of give Arthur that. And then he's going to talk about maybe the comparison to like the Phoenix Light incidents. Talk about how it's comparable. There's something to be drawn there. And he's going to he's going to say a lot of things that are not true. And I'm going to attack all of that because I've got the evidence. I've got the exact evidence showing that there were illumination rounds, IR illumination rounds being used in the massive air exercise that was taking place at that exact time that they had the sighting. I have the documents thanks to John Greenwald. Thank you, sir. If you're out there listening, you're probably not. But if
He's a
you are,
friend of the show.
oh, he is out there listening. Thank you. Thank you, John. Yeah, man, you really helped. You're great with FOIA, Black Vault, best site ever. But yeah, I have the exact type of aircraft that fired those rounds, the exact planned FTX schedule, which is a field training exercise. I know the exact pathway that it took across the 29 Palms range. I can prove with maps, that the exact location that the flares were dropped over is the only place within 29 Palms that is cleared for that type of ordinance to be used. We're going to look at pictures where I'm going to, show you, which I think is the Mick West debunk that has already been kind of, beaten like a dead horse. But, it's
He's
a
also
great.
he's also a friend of the show, and unlike others in the community, I don't think I don't dismiss him. I think he keeps us grounded in a way that there are some cases that are pretty cut and dry misidentifications.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a fan of Mick West personally, but yeah, he does great work. But I haven't even looked at any of his work. I promise Scout's honor. Like all the research that I've done is from my own brain, so it may not be up to the level of Mick West, but um, I think I'm pretty confident, in being able to make this case. And I just want to, kind of make it a point, that people need to that people could look at this case as something to be learned from, as far as hoaxes and the way that hoaxes develop and they perpetuate across like years, decades even, about how groupthink and about how I mean I have a well, there's an entire segment that I have where I've got bullet points listing how a hoax develops, and going back to like the Philadelphia experiment and Bob Lazar, and talking about how those perpetuated and comparing those to this case. And yeah, so I mean, we'll get into that later, but that's my introduction, and thanks.
Okay, so just to be clear about your experience, you don't have experience with the flare, and I'm not belittling you. I'm not discrediting your experience with flares overall. I'm just simply trying to clarify the Illuma rounds that you say are in the air. You didn't ever actually deploy.
No, I was never in the Air Force,
Okay.
or in the Marines. I was never a crew member on an aircraft, but it's the exact same thing. It's the exact same type of chemicals, the exact same mechanism of deployment. It's identical almost.
Okay. Okay. All right. So thank you, Grider. I'm going to pull it over to Arthur. Let him get his moment to kind of like let us know where he's coming from, where he's going to start his, where he's going to start his evidence trail, and give us his brief 5 minutes.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you, Grider and Ty. So my position is that this was a genuine UAP event. It wasn't misidentified flares. There's quite a few points I want to make, but I think Grider's going to undermine the credibility of the witnesses. I think he might start throwing out, fantasies or, ideas that these guys are throwing a practical joke and making this up. And I just want to make it very clear. I think all the witnesses are telling the truth. I think they're very sincere. I don't think they're misremembering. And that's probably some of our strongest evidence is the witnesses. And all of the skeptics want to ignore all of the witnesses and their testimony. And these are military witnesses, and we have 5 of them. That actually adds a lot of credibility. And this case has a lot of information associated with it. We have like 7 videos. We have like 5 low light photos of the event. And we have metadata associated with a lot of this. And then we have a whole tranche of FOIA documents and FOIA photos and FOIA videos, also with metadata. And that's where I've done most of my analysis, is comparing the FOIA documents to the original documents. And in that analysis, I think I found very strong evidence of fraud, meaning that this was some sort of pre-bunking operation by Arrow, Susan Go, the Department of Defense, and that this was a major event, a mass sighting, witnessed not by only 50. That was the bare minimum of 50, according to witnesses. Probably in the hundreds, if not up to 1,000 people witnessed this. In one photo alone, we see like 6 people with their smartphones out recording it. So there's probably a bunch more video out there. And I want to bring some more light to this case, and maybe we can get some more evidence, some more witnesses, some more video or photos of the event. And this could become the next Phoenix Lights. This could be as big as the Phoenix Lights, because this is a mass sighting at a military base. We have on-duty witnesses, military witnesses, and video. So and I think it was a big mistake that the community glanced over this. Are we having some technical issues?
No. You're
okay,
full screen.
Sorry. I think it was a major mistake that the community moved on from this case so quickly. I think a lot of the community is operating on kind of a low information basis on this case. They got the debunk from Mick West and John Greenwald, within 24 hours. It was very compelling at first glance. So at first glance, their debunks seemed like conclusive. Yeah. And most people just kind of accepted it and moved on, never really dug into this case ever.
And I will say that I am one of those people who did really see this case and just kind of let it go in one ear out the other. So I want to hone in on something. What, you have no military experience, right?
Correct.
Do you have any background in flare and illumination?
Nope, no firsthand experience with flares. I guess the only thing that might add, as far as credentials wise, is I do have a degree in biology, which has physics training. So I have taken, the basic physics courses. And then I also have a master's degree in public health, which isn't really applicable at all to this, but I have scientific training. So I'm applying my research skills to this case.
So that's where I was trying to get to. So I think what we should do is we should start with very simple, very, very, very simple. There's an argument that you both make, and it has to do with the witnesses and the credibility of the witnesses. So I kind of want to start there, maybe with some of the videos, and kind of watching them go